One Pride, what's going on? It's your boy, T. Back at it again with another episode of Talking with T. Let's get into it. Let's get after it, man. In today's episode, we're previewing the matchup against the 49ers in week 1, what I'm looking for, what I'm expecting from the 49ers, and I'm going to give you my final prediction for the game on Sunday. So let's dive right into the video.
Yeah.
The first thing I'm looking for in Sunday's game against the 49ers is, are we actually out there competing, and has the culture actually changed? I want to see if Dan Campbell and this team's actually about what they're preaching, because the last couple of years, there's been no pride out there to go stop someone on third down. It felt like every time it was like 3rd and 3, it was automatically going to be a first down the last couple of years because our defense played with no passion, no pride to go out and stop somebody and go win the game, man. That would just... It makes me so mad as a fan. It's disrespectful to the fans when you're consistently getting gassed for 6 yards. Go out there and compete and go stop somebody. Don't be okay with that. You're in the NFL. Start putting it on for the city of Detroit, man. We care about you guys. We want you guys to be successful. I want you guys to have the same passion that the fans have. You guys should, man. That's your job. Have some pride in what you do. And that's what I'm expecting to see. I want to see if this culture's changed. And the next thing I'm looking for, are we tackling? That's one thing I noticed with Michigan football the other day. I'm a huge Michigan fan, and that's the one thing I noticed other than the last couple of years, is they were tackling. The running back for Western Michigan would get through the line of scrimmage and get to the second level, the linebackers and safeties, and they were there to clean it up for a 5-yard, 4-yard gain, other than getting gassed for 12 yards. The Lions have never been really able to tackle. Are these linebackers tackling? Is the Spielman effect in there? I've noticed it with Derek Barnes. He's been learning a lot from Chris Spielman. And the last thing I'm looking for on offense or on defense in general, who's going to be the leader? Who's going to step up and be the stud of this team? Who's going to stand out and be the star? You got Jared Goff. Is he going to step up and lead this team? Is Hockenson going to do it? Is Swift going to do it? Which one of these receivers is going to start stepping up and separating himself? How about on defense? Who's going to rise up and be the stud? Is it going to be Okwara? Is it going to be one of the linebackers? Or is it going to be one of those young DBs in the backfield? Let's see it. Who's going to be the leader? Who's going to be the dog of this Detroit Lions 2021 team? I want to see it. Let's get to the next part of the video. One thing this matchup preview against the 49ers has made me realize that's encouraging for Lions fans is the NFC West is stacked. You got the 49ers, Rams, Seahawks, and Cardinals. All those teams could go to the NFC Championship. All those teams are going to be competing for the division at the end of the year. The reason that's encouraging for Lions fans, because if the Rams don't make it to the playoffs, that's a better draft pick for the Detroit Lions. That's not the point of the video, so let's dive into this 49ers matchup. This 49ers team is explosive all over the field on offense. They got George Kittle coming back off injury. He's had a great offseason training with TJ Hockenson, so I'm expecting a big game out of him, man. He can run the ball if they wanted to on a tight end reverse. He could catch the ball, we all know that, and he could block. And these two wide receivers, these two dynamic wide receivers that are home run hitters every time they touch the ball, Brandon Ayuk on the outside and Deebo Samuel on the outside. Those guys can run the ball in jet reverses, sweeps, all those good things, bubble screens. This is going to be a tough matchup. And on top of that, you got to prepare for two quarterbacks. Trey Lance, who's a different athlete than Jimmy Garoppolo. And then you got Jimmy Garoppolo, who's a different athlete than Trey Lance. And that backfield is just fast and explosive as those guys on the outside. So this is going to be tough. But the way you stop it is you got to stop the run. And it's a lot easier said than done with how explosive this team is. And they can hit you all kinds of ways with reverses, stretches, inside zone, outside zone. This is going to be tough, but you got to stay disciplined and you got to stop the run. If you can stop the run, this is going to help you beat the 49ers or have a chance to beat them at the end of the game. And on the defensive side of the ball, they're healthy again. Nick Bosa's coming back off injury. Dee Ford's back, and their defensive line is probably their front seven is probably the strength of their defense. So I don't know much about the 49ers defense right now. And that sounds like they lost their 2 starting cornerbacks from last year, and Richard Sherman, and I don't know who the other guy was. I'm not a big 49ers fan. Excuse me, 49ers fans, don't come at me crazy in the comments, all right? But that's the way I think you're going to have to attack their defense. Is you got to establish the run game, and if you can establish the run game, that's going to open up the play action pass and hit them deep with our explosive, fast wide receivers on the outside. Our receivers may not be big names, but they are fast and they are explosive, and we can hit them on the outside on fly routes or post routes and get open deep. Jared Goff, you're going to have to throw the ball deep, so let's see what happens with that. But that's the way you're going to attack their defense, is you have to be able to run the ball. You got to establish the run game to have a chance in this game, and you have to stop the run. So let's dive into the next part of the video. All right, these game previews, I'm going to give you a bias score, and I'm going to give you a realistic score, because it's very hard for me to root against the Detroit Lions. It's really hard for me to say that the Detroit Lions are going to lose. But now that I'm commentating on the Lions and you guys are out there to say, I don't want to be putting myself out there looking dumb. But my bias score is 24-21. The Detroit Lions are going to win on a game-winning field goal. My realistic score is 28-20 San Francisco, and we're going to be in that ball game. We're just going to be competing, and it's going to come down to the wire. We're going to give up a late touchdown to George Kittle or something like that, and it's going to be 28-20 San Francisco. But hey, I'm excited for the Detroit Lions. The season's finally starting. Week 1's here. One Pride signing out. It's your boy T. I'll see you guys soon.